Hey folks, I'm hiding in the dark tonight. I'm in my living room. Everybody's sleeping. I wanted to record a quick video for you. Um, Over the past few years, I've watched a lot of folks hire marketing professionals, coaches, and things like that. And a lot of times what happens is they get a bunch of advice that they don't understand, or they don't realize how valuable it is, and thinking that it's just that advice that's going to get them to where they want to be. And what they don't realize is it's actually a combination of that advice, your resourcefulness, and your resilience that's going to get you to where you want to be. I'll give you an example of, say, resourcefulness, but investing at the same time. Okay? So I moved out here last year. We bought this house out in the country, my dream. We're out on a little farm. No livestock, anything like that, but I do like to plant gardens. It's one of the main reasons I love living where I live. And I started off with this handful of corn seeds. Literally, it's about 30 of them. And I planted 2 in each hole. Okay? And I did that because generally chances of seeds are growing is 50-50 on a lot of dry stock, because seeds only usually last for about a year, even if they're preserved properly. So I had about 15 holes planted, and as the corn stalks came up, some came up 2 in a hole, some came up 1 in a hole. When 2 in a hole came up, I kept the stronger plant and got rid of the weaker plant. Okay? Now, throughout the summer, I also planted like green peppers and different types of tomatoes and hot peppers and cucumbers and all kinds of beans, all kinds of different things. When it came to the beans, I planted 2 rows of beans, lots of beans, that's a lot for green beans, okay? And then as they were growing, I'd pick very lightly, but often, okay? So as I got paid, I'd pull money out, or seeds out, set them aside, but I did it often, okay? Never stripping the plants clean, never stripping the bank account clean. Pull it out, but do it often, okay? In small amounts. Did that with the beans. By the 3rd week into my growing season, I planted 2 more rows of beans, twice as long, with beans that the previous plants produced. So they produced revenue for me, which was food, nourishment, and they produced a way for me to grow more of that nourishment. Okay? Same with the corn. When the corn came up, and family was eating them. They like to eat it. They eat it right off the stalk. It's all organic. But I kept a few. And then today I cut down the stalks, and we use the stalks for, fall decorations and things like that. But I kept everything that was left on them too. I'm drying all those things out, and those are seeds for next year. But here's the thing, I started with a handful of seeds and got 15 plants out of 30 seeds. Okay? Now I have well over 3,000 seeds. How much corn do you think I'm going to have next year? Same with the tomatoes, the peppers, the cucumbers, the beans, right? Save seeds from all those. I only took 1 or 2 seeds per hole, and I get this nice small little garden. What do you think it's going to look like next year? Okay? When you do this in business, you put a little bit in, usually get more back, take some of that, put it aside, use what's left. Keep that process going. By the end of that selling season, you're going to find that you had way more than you started with that you can invest in towards next year through advertising, hiring more people to help you, like copywriters and things like that, which is mainly what I do for people. Okay? But if you do this consistently, pick often, but never strip it clean. All right? Take out of the revenue that you receive often and put it into other means, investment accounts or interest-bearing checking, whatever it may be, whatever you have the means to do. Anything you can do to grow that or to save that. Pick often, but never strip that bank account clean. Always leave some in there. Okay? And you keep doing that process and you keep compounding it in these different places. Maybe you bought gold, maybe you bought silver, maybe you invested in real estate, right? I know when I retire, when I'm old, which I'm not, I'll be okay. My family will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I'm willing to live off the resources now and invest into my future and continuously learn by investing in coaches or taking on partnerships that contribute more to me. I always, a friend of mine, Roger Salam, Waj Salam, said to me today, he always feels that the best joint ventures are the ones where each party felt they got the best end of the deal. It means both parties are excited about it, which is really cool, right? I've seen over the past year a lot of people saying, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to try this on my own. I'll be fine on my own. And I'm not going to invest in you to help. I'll do this on my own. You know, the same concept of the corn, the vegetables, your business and investing and all those things, planting the handful of seeds, and each year it compounds to a bigger harvest, right? And same way with joint venture partnerships, with business networks, with masterminds, with people that can contribute more as far as maybe information for you and you exchange work for them that they need to be done, have done. Or maybe they want dollars for services, right? But as long as you can see how it can compound throughout, even if you have to add additional resources to it. Obviously the corn didn't grow on its own, folks. I had to make my own compost, I had to water it, right? I had to add additional resources to the seeds to get them to produce a bigger yield. If you pay somebody for coaching, you pay somebody for marketing, you pay for somebody for copywriting, for VA services, whatever it may be, you're going to have to add additional resources to those things to nourish them, to get them to grow, to produce a bigger yield. If you keep saying, I'm going to go it on my own, and you keep saying, well, I can't afford to do that, then you're going to be stuck right where you're at. Let's just say you have a job, and that's it. You say, oh, by the time I get my paycheck, everything's gone. Why? I don't get paid enough. Okay, fine. How many times did you spend money and feel guilty about it? How many times did you spend money on something that didn't directly nourish the growth of your livelihood, and then the very next day you're thinking, oh my God, I can't take care of the things I need to take care of. I shouldn't have done that yesterday. You'll blame it on the government, you'll blame it on taxes, you'll blame it on your low paying job, you'll blame it on your boss, you'll blame it on the credit cards that you raked up. But you won't blame it on the one person that you're really angry with. It's you, because you knew better, right? Well, we all do it. Okay, I'm not saying I'm any better than you. I'm not saying that I haven't sinned more than you. I probably have. Okay, what I'm saying is until you accept that lesson that you just taught yourself, and you own that lesson that you just gave yourself, you're not going to get to the next part. You're not going to be able to nourish. You're not going to be able to leap beyond that and accept that failure of judgment as a success in learning. Okay? A lot of people say that there's only one true source of a solid revenue that can make millionaires. And that's highly valuable skill sets, specialized skills. You'd be right. Problem is with the people that have those specialized skills, they think they know it, and each and every year they keep on just doing what they already know, and they don't continue to educate themselves to advance upon those specialized skills, to find different ways to package and contribute those specialized skills or products or services to other people in different industries. They don't see that there's a means to it all. It's like in politics. If you're looking at politics today, it's ridiculous. I can't sit here and say there's any one person that I truly would endorse because it's all childishness, all right? I'm half the age of those people, And I act way more mature than they do on a daily basis. I don't have a choice. I got little kids. I have a wife. They do too. Sorry about the furnace. I'll try to talk louder. But here's the thing. If you continue to promote what you're angry about politics on your Facebook feed, if you continue to have unreasonable discussions where you tell people you won't be their friend anymore in social media if they're looking at it this way, then you're kind of missing how this all works. War is like this. If you see war and you promote propaganda that does nothing but talk about the ridiculousness and the criticalness of the need for war, you'll only have more war. But what if within wartime there was a peace that you found that you could spend your time focused on more often? You'd be nourishing the peace, right? War begets war, peace begets peace. It's the way it works, okay? Great uncle of mine, his name's Ellsworth Yeager. He spelled it Jaeger. He wrote a book. I think it was Wilderness Woodland or Wilderness Woodlore or something like that. Look up Ellsworth Yeager, Jaeger, Wilderness book. It's mainly talking about how pioneers made their clothes and stuff. But you know, he interviewed the original founder of Boy Scouts of America, Baird, right? And he said in his book that he wrote, my uncle, my great uncle, I never met him, he wrote it in about 1941. He said that during a tremendously treacherous time, in this book he's saying right now, people are looking for that one moment of peace. They're looking to get away from this terrible thing that's going on in the world. Well, around 1941, we know what he was talking about, right? And he could have published any book he wanted to. He was a former soldier. He had worked with the military, right? Published a book on camping and making traditional clothing and how you can adapt some of those things to that current time to get more pleasure out of your camping trips, and how the people of his time would go clanking through the woods with a bunch of heavy stuff, a bunch of gear and all these things, and the pioneers would have been rolling in their graves because they wouldn't have needed any of that stuff. Kept it simple, and they just went out there and lived it and enjoyed it, and they knew that nature gave them what they needed. But during that time of terrible animosity across the world, it found that more people were getting back to the wilderness. More people were going camping again. Camping wasn't this thing that people did all the time like we do today. More people were doing it. They wanted more simplicity. They wanted more peace. They wanted more nature. They put more focus on that, and they got out of that turmoil. They got out of that struggle. And when he taught them to simplify it, it was easier to do, and they could do it more often. Now imagine you simplified your business, you simplify your life, you simplify the way you spend and what you spend things on. What's that going to do to nourish your future and the future of your family? Now let's just say after doing that you end up with a larger sum than what you started with. I'll tell you my philosophy. People say, Happy New Year, Bob. January 1st comes around, Happy New Year. So, how was 2016? And every year I say the same thing I've always said. I got to keep what I had, and I have a bit more than what I started with last year. It's all good. If I get to keep what I have and I have a bit more than I started with last year, it's all good. Now I do that every year. Little bits, little bits, little bits. There has to be this level of patience involved in this whole thing. 20 years, 21 years now. September 29th was 21 years I started in the sales industry. And a lot of things in between as well. Engineering, rock bands with my buddy Ron May and Sam Britton, JV partnerships like with Lee Collins and Mike Silva and Keith Dennis and all these folks. Had amazing mentors, Leslie Feger, Bob Dinyard Fung, Jim Rohn, Billy Mays. Some of those people are gone, some are still around, right? Friendships though. I got to tell you, the friendships built in business and outside of business. My friend Ron May and I and Sam Britton, we went out to a rock show the other night. You know, I see Ron every once in a while when I can. We used to hang out every day years ago, about 20 years ago. Sam, lucky if I see Sam every 5 or 10 years in passing, right? And we hung out and we sat there and we talked like we did, like it was just yesterday that we just saw each other. I saw musicians that I hadn't seen in 15, 16 years. Picked up the conversations where they left off. Talked to my buddy Waj Salam yesterday on the phone. It was like we were back in Costa Rica 9 years ago celebrating my 30th birthday. It's amazing. It's amazing. You plant those seeds, but you got to nourish them. You got to add to it. And did I do my garden alone? No. My kids helped. My wife helped. My mother-in-law helped. You know, my mother and my grandmother-in-law live in a house on the backside of the property. We all live here together. Help it out. Help each other out all the time. Their lives are better for it. Our lives are better for it. My children's lives are better for it. With the neighbors across the way here, right across my yard, I help homeschool their kids on certain things. They drop off vegetables and things like that. They ask if our kids can come over and play with their kids. Everybody helps out. Why is everybody so against one another right now? Why is everybody so competitive with one another right now? Competition's great, but make it fun. Do it in a way where you're still friends at the end of it. And all this political shit that everybody's getting pissed off, I'll post something here and there, but I'm just trying to get a rise out of all of you. I don't care one way or the other. Because none of that stuff out there influences me directly right here. Could it someday? Sure. But I got seeds. I don't have stockpiles of foods, but you know what I do have? I have tools. Tools that can make things, tools that can fix things, and I know how to use those tools. I have tools that don't require ammunition to go out and get food, meat, endless supply of water, fresh, clean water, running under the ground here, tapped into it. I'm not worried about all that stuff. Oh, Bob, what if there's war in the streets? Oh, we have a great big military. I'm sure they'll stop all that. That's out there. For right now, the one thing I will never do is plan for what probably won't happen. But I will continue to advance upon my skills, and I will continue to, yes, work for people even if I get paid lower than other companies used to pay me, if it means that in that relationship, the benefit of me being in connection with these people, the benefit of me learning from these people and having friendships with these people, far outweighs any paycheck you'll ever get. If you've never made over $5,000 a month and you want to make $5,000 a month, stop trying to charge $5,000 for everything that you freaking sell. Find somebody that's better at you, better than you, way more skilled than you, way more wise than you, and has failed 100 times and then succeeded 100 times or 20 times. Find that person and see if they'll pay you $5,000 a month or $3,000 a month to teach you how to be better while you service them properly. Do that. Do that. You'll say, well, they're getting more out of it. No, they're not. Pay attention. When I worked with Billy Mays, he paid me for copy here and there, but I was on the road working my ass off, doing door-to-door platform speaking, going to get his stuff and setting up meetings in hotels, and I was dying, literally dying of cancer at the time, and I was working my ass off. What that man taught me and what I combined it with, what I nurtured it with from Jim Rohn and what I learned over the years from Tony Robbins and people like Waj and people like Lee and people like Sam England and all these people that I cultivated friendships with, I took that original knowledge that Billy gave me and I nurtured it with the information that Ken MacArthur would put into my head, Leslie Feger would give to me. I just kept nurturing it. You don't survive in this industry for 21 years without being resilient, taking your specialized skills to the next level every opportunity you get, and definitely spend more time contributing more to people that are better at things than you, and you will get a wealth of skill sets and knowledge, applicable knowledge back in return. This industry, coaching, sales, marketing, advertising, it's always been kind of a greedy industry. But I've never seen it such an idiotic industry where people don't realize that you're much better off doing it with others than you are all by yourself. So, it goes for our country, it goes for the world, it goes for health, it goes for fitness, it goes for family and business. You will always be better off doing it with other people who all need one another, who all can benefit by being surrounded by one another and working and engaging with one another, than you will ever get all by yourself. You will never get there by yourself. And you'll say, well, you know what, that's a dare, Bob. I'm going to get there by myself. Yeah. I haven't heard that before. I'll see you when you get there. Take care.